Comey then says, how many times, if any, were you told to urinate on Ms. Ventura?
Got it. Here's a clean, professional rewrite of your text without any stylized language like fam or asterisk emphasis, just a straightforward, serious tone suitable for a documentary-style narration or script. These are just some of the graphic details emerging from the Diddy trial, and it doesn't stop there. Reports suggest that tensions reached a boiling point in court when Diddy allegedly threw a chair at a journalist. In this video, we're breaking down everything that's happened. Inside the courtroom so far, every outburst, every allegation, and what it all means for the case. Let's begin with the shocking incident that's taken over headlines and social media. But first, for those not fully up to speed, here's the background. Sean Diddy Combs is currently on trial in federal court in Manhattan. He is facing a series of serious charges: racketeering, conspiracy. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. The case began with his arrest in September 2024. The trial officially opened on May 5, 2025, starting with jury selection, followed by opening statements and witness testimonies on May 12. Since then, the proceedings have become a media spectacle, with journalists, supporters, and critics crowding the courthouse each day to witness this high-profile trial unfold. Now let's talk about the courtroom incident that has everyone talking. Multiple eyewitnesses report that during today's session, Diddy lost control. As a journalist entered the courtroom, allegedly carrying materials related to the case, Diddy reportedly grabbed a chair and threw it in their direction. Security personnel immediately intervened, restraining him as the judge called for order. One witness described the scene as chaotic, with people ducking and scrambling for cover. The journalist, whose identity has not been publicly confirmed, was reportedly struck but not seriously injured. Still, an act of aggression in a federal courtroom, especially by someone already facing major charges, is highly consequential. This incident appears to be the result of growing tension between Diddy's legal team and the press. His attorneys have long accused the media of damaging his reputation and creating a hostile environment that threatens his right to a fair trial. They have even petitioned for gag orders to prevent lawyers representing the alleged victims from making public comment. However, a physical outburst in court presents an entirely new level of legal. Legal analysts say this could seriously affect how the jury perceives Diddy, even if they didn't witness the event directly. The judge may also choose to charge him with contempt of court, which would only add to the list of legal challenges he is already facing. Let's break down the charges he's currently up against. Diddy is accused of racketeering, criminal conspiracy, sex trafficking, transportation for the purpose of prostitution. The trafficking charge carries a minimum sentence of 15 years, while the transportation charge carries up to 10 years. Guilty of all charges, he could be sentenced to life in prison. Now, with this alleged courtroom incident, his situation could become even more complex. The prosecution's case is centered on accusations that Diddy used his power and status to exploit women over the course of 2 decades. They claim he hosted drug-fueled events referred to as freak-offs, where women were manipulated or coerced into sexual acts. His legal team argues that the encounters were consensual and part of a swinger lifestyle. But the testimonies so far have cast serious doubt on that defense. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence has been a 2016 surveillance video showing Diddy physically assaulting his former girlfriend, Cassie Venture, in a hotel hallway. The footage, released in May 2024, sparked widespread outrage and led Diddy to issue a public apology. He acknowledged the incident, calling his behavior inexcusable. Adding to the prosecution's case, former Los Angeles police officer Israel Flores testified that he responded to a call in 2016 and witnessed the aftermath of the assault. Flores claimed Diddy attempted to bribe him in an effort to keep the incident out of official records. Another key witness, Daniel Phillips, a male review manager, testified that he was paid to engage in sexual acts with Ventura under Diddy's direction. He described several disturbing episodes, including instances of physical violence and coercion. With each passing day, the case continues to build, and with incidents like today's courtroom outburst, Diddy's legal situation only grows more precarious. We'll continue following the trial closely and bring you updates on the latest developments, witness testimonies, and legal consequences as they unfold. Let me know if you want this formatted for voiceover narration with visual cue suggestions or adapted into a YouTube-friendly script with segments.
Phillips said this went on more times, meeting up at hotels or their homes, and Diddy would direct them while having sex. Now, a supporter of the alleged victims, Jaguar Wright, spoke out before court this morning.
Keeping the serious tone and improving flow, grammar, and clarity. Her husband was reportedly present in the courtroom at the time. Now, with this chair-throwing incident, the big question on everyone's mind is, How will this affect the trial moving forward? Could the judge declare a mistrial? Will Diddy face additional charges? And perhaps most critically, how will this incident shape the jury's perception of him, even if they didn't witness the outburst firsthand? According to a courtroom source, Diddy had been showing increasing signs of agitation throughout the proceedings, particularly when certain evidence was presented or when specific witnesses took the stand. This chair-throwing incident appears to be the result of that pressure finally boiling over into a moment of uncontrolled anger. The legal consequences could be serious. This kind of behavior might lead to the loss of certain courtroom privileges, and could also impact how the judge rules on key motions and objections raised by the defense. Most importantly, if news of the incident reaches the jury, and in a case this high profile, it's difficult to keep anything under wraps. It could severely undermine Diddy's credibility in their eyes. Diddy's legal team has been fighting an uphill battle from the very beginning. Beyond the ongoing criminal trial, he is also facing more than 100 civil lawsuits from individuals accusing him of misconduct, with some allegations dating as far back as 1991. One of the most notable cases was filed by Cassie Ventura in 2023. Though it was settled quickly, it triggered renewed public scrutiny and further investigations. What makes today's outburst especially significant is its timing. It occurred just as Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend and a central figure in the case, was expected to take the stand. Her testimony has been highly anticipated, as prosecutors believe she could reveal new and potentially devastating details that further support the pattern of abuse and coercion at the center of the case. As the trial continues, today's incident may mark a turning point not only in how the public views Diddy, but in how the court itself handles the escalating tensions within the courtroom. Let me know if you'd like this merged into the previous segment or formatted as part of a YouTube video script.
Phillips, the second witness of the day, said he was told by his boss that he was going to perform at a bachelorette party at the Gramercy Park Hotel, but when he arrived, he saw Cassie in red lingerie and a red wig. He testified she said that they would rub baby oil on each other and would see where things would go from there while her husband was there.
There has been a noticeable change in Diddy's appearance compared to his previous public images. Observers have pointed out that he looks significantly thinner, with some reports suggesting he has lost a considerable amount of weight while in detention. One courtroom attendee remarked that he appeared very thin, underscoring the visible physical toll this case seems to be taking on him.
The testimony resumes tomorrow with Daniel Phillips, and after that, Cassie Ventura is expected to take the stand. She is the prosecution star with Los Angeles Hotel back in 2016 when Diddy was caught on video assaulting Cassie, and he testified that Diddy threw a sack of money at him in their hotel room afterwards to keep quiet.
Yeah, he said he had a devilish smile. That's what he said of Combs there after that incident back in 2016.
Here's a clean and compelling rewrite of the section, preserving the core details while refining the tone and structure for clarity and professionalism. Crowds have been lining up overnight outside the courthouse, some with lawn chairs, hoping to secure a seat for the next day's proceedings. The intense level of public interest has added even more pressure to an already high-stakes trial. One observer estimated that around 36 people were camped outside, prepared to stay the all night just to get inside the courtroom. A major point of focus in the trial has been the so-called freak-offs, a term used to describe the alleged private parties Diddy is accused of organizing. Prosecutors have described these events as drug-fueled encounters, claiming that women were coerced into participating, often under the influence of substances like Molly and MDMA. According to the prosecution, these were not consensual gatherings, but carefully orchestrated setups where participants were manipulated, exploited, and in some cases trafficked. Daniel Phillips, a witness in the trial, testified that he was paid several $1,000s to take part in these encounters. He claimed these meetings happened multiple times at hotels or private residences, with Diddy allegedly present and directing the acts. The defense has pushed back hard, framing these events as part of a consensual swinger lifestyle. While unconventional, they argue, the gatherings involved willing adults engaging in mutually agreed-upon activities. This contrast lies at the heart of the case. Is Diddy a manipulative abuser who controlled and coerced women, or was he simply involved in consensual, albeit unorthodox, sexual experiences? To be completely honest, the prosecution's case has been compelling so far. In addition to the witness testimonies and surveillance footage, they've introduced evidence gathered during federal raids on Diddy's homes in Miami and Los Angeles in March 2024. Authorities seized firearms, ammunition, various drugs, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, allegedly intended for use during these events. The overwhelming quantity of these items has been used by the prosecution to support their argument that these gatherings were premeditated and organized, not spontaneous or casual. The baby oil in particular has emerged as a strange but recurring motif in the trial. It's been referenced multiple times by both witnesses and attorneys, and has even started trending on social media as one of the more surreal details tied to the case. Let me know if you'd like this section broken into a visual script format for narration or video editing.